Blessings on top of more blessings. It's JJ, also known as Mr. Royal Credit. It's another episode of the Kings and Queens of Credit, and I am here with the one and only.
What's up? It's Tosh.
What's good? What's good, Natasha? How you feeling?
Man, I feel good. How you feeling?
Oh, nothing less than amazing, man. Everything is going great. We got a very, very special episode. Someone that's done something that I've never seen before, but at the same time, he's a serial entrepreneur. I met him in several different rooms, and it's just a pleasure to have him. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring him up to the stage. His name is Mr. Charles Davis.
Hey, what's going on, man? Blessings, King. How you doing today? How you doing, Tosh? How you doing, JJ?
Charles, look, I gotta not call you CJ.
I know. Whenever somebody calls me CJ, I know they knew me from a long time and from high school because that's the definitely come from my origins. So it's all love when I hear CJ.
Okay, where were you from? Where you from? Talk to me.
You know, I'm from originally from Oakland, California. You know what I mean? I'm born and raised out there, and by way of Stockton, kind of grew up in Stockton. My mother and father were split up, so I bounced back and forth from Oakland to Stockton. You know, I lost my mother at a real young age, at the age of 13 in Oakland, California. I moved in with my dad in Stockton, went through high school there. You know, unfortunately lost him at the age of 17. I met Tosh along that long line of right around 96, when I was about 13 or 14 years old, right a freshman in high school because we went to the same high school together. And then I ended up, going to college in Turlock. And now here I am residing in Turlock, California right now. And, grew my roots here, started several businesses, and the rest is history.
Yeah, man, I've seen you in a lot of rooms, man. So I know you making big moves. And shout out to Stockton. A lot of good people come from out there. I just know that by experience, you know, for sure. So, well, when it comes to mobile home banking, this is something that's been very interesting, and the fact that you being able to not only teach people, but when you purchase your first home, your first mobile home. Tell us how that happened.
Okay, so like it goes back a few years back. You know, I was actually looking into getting into real estate investing. So I had a real estate license years ago, and then buying and selling and representing buyers and sellers wasn't really for me. I really originally got my real estate license as a backdoor way to learn more information about investing, right? And so I started wholesaling houses, and wholesaling, if you're not aware, is the process of basically identifying a deal, getting that deal under contract. So getting a contract with the seller of the home, and then taking that contract and assigning or selling that contract to another investor for a fee. So I will get a price of a home, negotiate it under market, meet investors, get that contract, and flip that contract to another investor. And I did that the first time, and I was able to make $38,000 on the spread from that first deal, which sounded great. But when I saw that home, right, when it sold on the market, so I ended up flipping it to this investor. I got it under contract for $114. I ended up flipping it to another investor for $154,000, right? But then I saw it 3 weeks later on the market for $350,000. So I was like, oh man, you know, he ended up making a couple $100,000 on me. So I wanted to get into that. But the problem with that was that coming up with $250,000, $300,000, or whatever the case was, to get it prepared. And so I noticed that getting mobile homes was a lot lower hanging fruit and a lower barrier of entry. So I was able to, through my network, one of the other fellow wholesalers, he actually pitched a mobile home to me. And at first I was like, what? A trailer, mobile home? You know, who buys those things? But he goes, well, I got a lady. She's motivated. And I ended up getting that under contract for $3,000. I ended up paying him $1,500 for the lead, right? So I was all in $4,500 for the purchase price. I was able to renovate that, and I sold that for $89,000. So almost 90 grand, started from 4,500. So that was the first deal that I ever made. And at that point, it's like the light bulb went off that there's an opportunity here, and a star was born.
So you documented that from step by step. Is that correct?
So at first I didn't document it, but I reached back, right? So I just did it. I'm the type to take massive imperfect action. So when he brought that to me, I didn't know anything about renovation. I didn't know anything about really mobile homes, but I knew that, okay, well, for $5,000 or $4,500 total, I can't go wrong. I was already flipping cars. And so that type of money, having around 3, 4, 5 grand, I'm really comfortable with spending that money and taking the risk. So I actually just reached out and took a leap of faith, purchased it, and went through the process. And since then, I've done it several times. And honestly, the biggest part about that transaction is the problems that I ran into, right? The issues that I had, the problems that I ran into, overcoming all the hurdles and obstacles to get myself to the closing table, because it wasn't an easy task, right? There was all types of things, dealing with contractors, dealing with HCD, or the Housing Community Development Department, dealing with the park owners, dealing with all of those issues that I had come tenfold in terms of the learning that I got from that experience. And going through there has allowed me to basically formulate a process to help others do the thing without having those problems. Me living those issues taught me so much. And considering I got the hardest one out of the way first, because there was a lot of obstacles, the rest were kind of easy to do. And it was also helped me with developing a process to make sure that my mentees and other people around me don't run into those same mistakes.
For sure. Wow. Golly, talk about knowledge. Okay, Natasha, I have one more question, and then go ahead and fire away. Here on Kings and Queens of Credit, we love to leverage credit. Like, that's what we do. We tap into the bank's money. We tap into other people's money. So, is that a strategy that you utilize whenever you do buy these mobile homes? Is that something you structure?
Is that question for me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, that is definitely a strategy, right? So when I did that first mobile home, that was kind of like my problem is it took longer, and kind of the issue was I funded that myself. So yeah, I put the money up, I put the first 4,500, but now that I got the mobile home, I had to actually renovate it. So I had to take all the money from my system from, I'll flip a car and make a profit of 3,000 or 4,000. Then I'll go down to Home Depot, maybe buy some flooring or maybe buy some paint. And then I do something else, flip a phone, or whatever the case is. And I was going a little bit by little. Since then, I've been able to, through the different knowledge and then through my different investments into myself, i.e. recession-proof, other mentorships, getting on lives and different things like that, learning more about business credit, unlocking the power to leverage business credit has really changed my life. Between developing relationships and unlocking the leverage that I received from business credit, that has made me basically 10x my outcome and my success, because now I don't have to go all in with every dime that I have and wait for the home to be done. I can actually go in and leverage business credit. So the main thing that I use that for is basically to give it a quick, short and skinny on that. So now I'll use zero interest credit cards to then liquidate those and purchase the home. And then on top of that, the next thing that I do is I purchase all of my materials using net 30 accounts, net 60 accounts through different sources such as Floor and Decor. We have, Lowe's, we have Sherwin-Williams. They all have things that go all on your business credit. And I'm able to leverage those. And then on top of that, before, thinking about personal credit, if you're leveraging on your personal credit, your score goes down. It's the catch-22, right? You're borrowing from your personal credit, your utilization goes up, your score goes down, and it's kind of a downward spiral from there. Whereas with business credit, since they don't report to your personal credit, it's like none of this money is really ever coming out of my pocket, and I'm making 100% of the profit just utilizing this business credit and this quote-unquote imaginary funds that don't necessarily report to my personal. So therefore, I've been able to leverage that and 10x that with no money out of my pocket, utilizing vendor credit lines, business credit cards, lines of credit, and turn around and make that profit.
Let's go.
Money,
Let's
money,
go.
money,
Go. Talk to me nice.
I don't know why that song was ringing in my head when you were saying.
Because that's compound. That's compound on the compound.
Right.
Go ahead, Natasha.
That's all profit at the end of the day. Even though I'm spending money, I'm spending the bank money and leveraging other people's money. So at the end of the day, to me, it's all profit 100%. None of that money comes out of my bank account. None comes out of my savings. None comes as cash for me. It's all coming from business credit.
And you're building your business. You're building your business credit. You're building the relationships, like you said. So it's really a win-win when you utilize it to the correct
Absolutely.
way.
All right. So, do you want me to talk any more about the kind of like my process, or you let me know what you want to talk about?
Go ahead, Natasha.
What you want me to say? What you want me to talk about? I have so much.
Go ahead. Shoot it.
No. Okay. So I had the pleasure, actually, I'm just talking with about CJ, and I had the pleasure of working some mobile deals with him. And so I've seen his work, I've seen what he's done, and he does some pretty dope thing. You actually have a class, right? Where you're
Yeah.
teaching. Tell
Yeah, I
us.
have a mentorship where I'm, going in and kind of showing people the process. Now, what I have is I have a 30-day challenge. I have a coaching program and a mentorship. And in that 30-day challenge, I wanted to give people a series of actionable steps that somebody that didn't necessarily want to invest all the way in a mentorship, they wanted to really get started and actually take action right away. I developed this, and what it is, it's a series of steps from day 1 to day 30 would push your feet to the fire, get you out there, get you talking to sellers, get you forming relationship with realtors, get you getting that system together, understanding the process, and not only am I just telling you how to do it, but I'm actually making it black and white for you. So if I say, hey, call HCD, it's not just call them. It's like, call this number, get them on the phone and ask these questions. Here's a script. If I say, hey, network with a realtor, figure out all the realtors in your area right now, and then send them an email. I have a process to do that. I have a way that you can hop on Fiverr, for example. I got a script and specifically what to write, what to look for, what to put, and also the actual white label email. So I'm having you go out and actually send these emails, but I'm giving you a template to the email so you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. So by the end of that, you're not saying, okay, what do I have to do to get started? I'm confident that if you take steps 1 through 30 day by day, at the end of it, it's going to be a no-brainer. You're going to be an expert at mobile home investing. And so that is kind of the new thing that I've added is my 30-day challenge. And then I have an online program for people who are like self-paced. They like to get on there on their own time and learn. I have a Facebook group. And then finally, I have a one-on-one mentorship where I take people by the hand, which includes the coaching program, includes the Facebook group, includes the 30-day challenge, but it's for people that actually want that extra hand. And the main thing about the mentorship is not only the step-by-step process, but it's the accountability, right? People need to be held accountable. And I'm able to work with you along that process. And my biggest thing is making it to where there's no excuses and it's foolproof, right? I want to make sure that I'm not just sending you out there to the dogs, so to speak, without having the knowledge or the information, but I'm actually providing that for you. I designed the business cards for you. I actually help you structure your business credit. And it's called kind of an all-inclusive course, process, and mentorship that I make sure that I give you guys the best chance of success.
Let's go. Let's go. Because we all about impact and inspiring people. So when you talk about teaching, like that's what really fires me up. Because you can do all the work and do it for yourself. But what does that really mean? You know what I mean? What does that mean? It means nothing. Because we are here to do something. Right. So when I say that with a purpose and with a passion, because I feel like that's a lesson to learn to everybody. Everybody goes through their own challenges, whatever it is that they do. But at the same time, if you're doing it for a good purpose, you're now open to teach other people. And that is the inspiration, bro. So talk to me about where does that even come from? Like, how did you even like that? How do you even get the passion to want to pour into people?
Honestly, I can talk about what the values that my mother and father have instilled into me, even though at that a young age, and I lost them at a young age, just some of those things, some things are just permanent, right? From when you get things from your mother and father, the whole nine, and there's different impacts that people have along your life. But at the end of the day, that's just the type of person that I am. I don't know what it is, but it's something inside of me that wants to help people. I joke about it sometimes. If I can be scrolling on Facebook and I can see somebody that went out and purchased a TV or something like that, and I go, oh man, I saw that for half price over here. I'm not making any profit from it, but I'll hop on there like, look, no, see if you can return that. Go over here and buy it. So you're going to save yourself a lot of money. So something about helping others, like in and of itself, it's just inside of me. And that right there is what makes me tick. For one, helping others, and also having that burning desire to do more every day. I ask myself as well, like, what is it that, that makes me wake up in the morning on fire? As an entrepreneur, there's nobody that's setting my hours for me. You know what I mean? It's me waking up, open my eyes and hitting it hard, being on fire all day, the next day doing the same thing. And regardless of how successful I am, I'm never going to lose that burning fire to just do more, do better, and impact people.
Let's go. Let's go. Definitely follow Charles Davis. on Facebook and Instagram. His IG is serial_CEO, and follow Natasha Bass. Real quick for the people, man. What are the top 3 tips that you have for mobile home people that want to invest into mobile homes? Like, what is the top 3?
Right. So if I had to break it down, because there's lots of tips that I can give, and it's important to understand the process. But the underlying thing is to build relationships, right? That's with anything, any business that you're in, and any venture that you're getting into. Building a relationship is key. Whether that's building relationships with realtors, whether that's building relationships with other investors, other with park managers, or anything like that, you really want to worry about your relationships. And that is kind of one of the first things. And actually, it's funny, I structured my mentorship as I was structuring it. The first module of my Zoom calls were going to be on the information, the basics, the topics and things like that you need to know, the vocabulary and things. And then at the last minute, I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. I've restructured it and put relationships first. What do we need to do to build these relationships out with different people, different stakeholders in the environment? So build relationships is the first thing. After that, sourcing deals, right? When I talk to people about mobile home investing, people in my inbox like, hey, how can I find these mobile homes? I've been looking on OfferUp, I've been looking on Craigslist, the whole 9, and I can't find a really good deal. To be honest with you, there's probably only going to be 1 or 2 home run deals if you were to look on like a Facebook marketplace. And that's probably over the course of a year. You might find 1 or 2 good deals, right? But if you start to identify different marketing channels, so you have driving for dollars, which is going into the mobile home parks and actually identifying what those are, and looking for the mobile home parks that look like they might have potential. There's also looking on OfferUp and Marketplace, but it's not just searching for them. On OfferUp, Marketplace, and on Craigslist, there's a feature that they have where you can actually save the search. So instead of you actually going out for it, it actually notifies you anytime is that something that's listed that is in your search criteria, it actually notifies you with a push notification. So now if you identify those, which is there, and you turn on the save sources, you're getting identified with every single mobile home that comes up, right? And then if you reach out to realtors, what you want to do is initially you want to go ahead and reach out to as many as realtors, going back to building a relationship. But if you reach out to them and actually give them a pitch, and also when you're giving them a pitch, let them know what the value is for them as well. Let them know be sincere, be loyal to them, and also that you're going to pay them either a bonus or an increased commission for what they can bring to you. So now you have realtors coming through. Once again, I'll reach out a lot of time. You know those signs that say, I buy houses now, I buy houses for cash. So what I do is I actually—
the signs that you put in the front yard, or you put them,
usually they're called bandit signs. They're on poles, usually around neighborhoods, on freeway exits and things like that, shopping centers. And basically those are wholesalers most of the time, or other investors that are telling people that, hey, I want to buy your house for cash. So what I do, every single one of those signs, I actually call them. And when I call them, I say, hey, look, I'm an investor. I'm a mobile home investor. Do you happen to buy mobile homes? And since it's an untapped market and very niche, a lot of the times they go, no, I never bought a mobile home. I'll say, great, I'm your new cash buyer now. I'm the one that's buying all your mobile homes. I'm going to not only pay you a couple of $1,000s if you bring me a deal and you don't have to do anything, but if you do happen to find one and you want to partner one, I'll take care of everything and you'll profit from it. So what I'm starting to do is starting to build a spider web, right? Build that out there. So if I have realtors, if I have, wholesalers, if I have, my save listings coming in and different things like that, now, say for instance, there's other sources. There's probably about 10 sources that I teach. So if I now employ all those sources, if I get one deal a year out of one source, but I have 10 sources, how many deals is that? All of a sudden, I'm getting one deal a month, right? Instead of you only getting one deal a year for one source, I'm getting one deal a year out of every one of these sources. So that's
right, with 10 sources. Okay, yeah.
Right. You want to make sure that you're not just utilizing one source. And on top of that, when you're utilizing those sources, you want to make sure that you're not always spending all your energy, effort, and time on searching yourself. Develop systems so that way they're actually contacting you. Okay.
Yes.
So that's another tip I have. So one is building relationships. One is also sourcing deals and having multiple channels for leads and sourcing. And then other than that is really getting down and understanding the process, understanding the renovation process, understanding the process of how these transactions take place, and being a go-getter. We say when there's credit, when we're learning how to do your credit or business credit or whatever the case is, you can you can take information, but if you happen to hear about a bank that gives you some business credit or whatever the case is, pick up the phone and call them, right? And I do the same thing with like mobile homes. If you want to learn about them, go to the source. If whatever city or state that you're in, there's a housing and community development department. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have any deals, any leads to right now. After this call, you can pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm want to learn more about mobile homes. And you guys tell me what paperwork might I need to go ahead and make a transfer on the mobile home, the whole nine. And the more information that you have and the more you invest in yourself, you're going to be more successful. And I know you only asked me for a few, but as we all know, and it took me years and years to understand this, right? Is invest in yourself and pay people that know. Get yourself a teacher or a mentor that's already been there, done that. You know,
Yes.
I've been an entrepreneur for years, but until I've actually joined Recession Proof and actually got that mentorship and got somebody that's actually going to pour into me and structure the system and give me all these different thoughts and ideas and be in the community with other like-minded individuals, I've 10x my outcome by far. You know, I've always been the type that pay cash for everything. Now, all of a sudden, business credit is introduced. I've never really heard of Turo or thought that was even possible. But now I'm renting cars out, buying brand new cars. I've always rented or bought used cars. Now I'm buying new cars because instead of focusing on them as a liability, I'm focusing on them as an asset. So invest in yourself and pay a mentor. That's the last bit of a tip that I have for that.
Let's go. Let's go. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe and follow my guy. I'm going to make a quick comment, and then Natasha got crazy questions. She got about 30 questions that she got for you. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot this real quick. One thing that stood out to me was like leverage. You know what I mean? Leverage. And you mentioned leverage in three of those advices. You get what I'm saying? And I want to make a point to people to understand. You have to understand leverage, because in life, period, you're going to learn how to leverage or you're going to get leverage. And it's important to understand how leverage works, because if you're getting leverage and you don't know it, now it's a problem. It's okay to get leverage and you know it because you understand where your position is. You understand what's happening. But if you're being leveraged and you don't know it, you're being taken advantage of. It's not really that person's fault. It's yours. So it's important to understand leverage, because when this comes to leverage, you can leverage your relationships. And when I talk about relationships and leveraging relationships, it has to be a win-win situation.
Right.
It's never a win-loss situation. It's always a win-win. Even if y'all go in on a deal and that shit go left, it's got to be a win-win, because y'all both have to learn off that shit and keep it pushing, right? If the integrity and character is right, but that's a whole different situation. When it comes to leveraging your relationships has got to be a win-win. When you go and leverage the bank, you got to have a strategy. Leverage the bank for the capital and for however you're going to move and groove. But understand the concept of leverage. It'll help you out in life. It helped me out in my life and in my business. My business is doing way better than it was 6 months ago, a year ago, even 3 months ago. Being able to leverage other people for different tasks, being able to leverage other people so that I can free up my time, but still make it beneficial for them. That's everything. It's a win-win, and it's a win-win in longevity, right? And I think that's very important when it comes to relationships and when it comes to life. Go ahead, Natasha. What you sipping on? What is that?
Juice. No, it's water.
Go ahead.
So CJ, you dropped a lot of nuggets. Thank you for that. I did want to ask you in regards to your deals. So you're doing syndication style as well, or is it just with straight teaching?
Yeah, so I do a little bit of all, right? I do syndications, I do teaching, and I also do it myself. So I'm not just a guru, right? I'm a guru. I'm not the type that's actually just teaching information and getting it out there and pushing and praying. I'm actually learning and going through this every day. So nobody's perfect, and I never said that I am. And I don't even want to call myself an expert, right? I'm just somebody who has integrity, is going to do my best and consistently learning. I'm consistently solving problems. And those problems that I'm solving are allowing me to have that information trickle down to the people that I impact and the people that I go and teach. And so the different styles of deals that I have is, for one, I'm just going to go and speak about something. there was an aha moment for me. So when I first got it going, like that first deal that I did, and even over the course of these last couple of years, when I've been getting into this market, I was doing one deal at a time, because at the end of the day, I thought I wanted all these deals to myself. I see these good deals. I'm like, man, I want to make all this money, right? But it wasn't until I started to leverage other people, and not and leverage in a good way, but starting a partnership with other people, syndicate with other people, having partners, that's been able to help me explode my business. So as of right now, for example, I have 4 homes in escrow, right? 4 mobile homes in escrow right now. 2 of them are with Tasha, right? 2 of them were with Tasha. We're closing on one tomorrow. One just got signed today for a deal, and then we have a couple other ones in the work. And so I would have never been able to do that had I not been able to get that mindset that it's okay to share, because having that scarcity mindset is a way to go nowhere fast. You have to have an abundance mindset and share the love. And so that's why I choose now to, first thing first, is to try to syndicate the deal as opposed to doing the deal by myself. And one thing that I do is, in my mentorship, I give my mentees first right to my deals. So anytime that I get a deal on the table, the first thing I do is I run it across my mentorship to see if anybody wants to pair with me and partner with me. And they have different options. Either they can take the deal on themselves and they can partner with me as me being the minority partnership, and I can go in and I can give them my advice, give them my help, and be kind of take like a backdoor seat to it. We can go in where we go half and half on everything, where everybody's going to give information financially in the whole nine. And then we also have another option where they want to be minority involved, and they just want to either find the deal and have me run through the deal, and they want to profit from it. So I've been able to, in this particular last couple of deals, I've been able to throw the deal together and reach out to either a couple of mentees, as well as there's a deal that I have with my network of investors. And I said, hey, look, here's a deal. I found the deal. If you want to be a part of it, great. You want to just put the financials up for it, or a portion of that finance, and we have an agreed upon profit share. So at the end of the day, I can find the deal. I do all the work. I get all the information, manage the deal, manage the contractors, and they get a chance to learn along the way, because I bounce ideas off of them. I kind of share with them my process of what my decision-making steps are and those things. So not only can they profit from it, they're getting hands-on learning, and as well as that, they're getting their feet wet without taking that big of a risk of doing it themselves.
So that's with on the syndication too. So explain to me, like, how does that work? Like, you have the syndication side, that's where they're coming in as an investor. And then you have the actual purchasing side, and that's where they're purchasing the property and you're just guiding them along the way. Is that correct?
Right.
So on the syndication side, because we know usually when you syndicate a deal, you're getting investors or people that want to just park their money somewhere and make a nice return, right? So as a syndicator, as somebody coming in on a syndication, are you having them go through the whole escrow process too? Or
so it kind of depends on the process. Typically, if they're the ones that are, if I'm the minority partner, so to speak, if they're the ones that's going to be handling the deal, going through the process of either finding the deal or managing the people involved in the deal, they'll be more involved on the escrow side of it, the paperwork side of it. But a lot of the times, I for example, I have an investor right now who doesn't really want to know anything. He's like, hey, here, he wants to know benchmarks and majors, right? But maybe he just gives me the money. And then once he gives me the money, when we purchase a property, I let him know, hey, it's purchased. Here's the get down. Here's the details. Once we get to any major points, so such as we're finished with the renovation, or there's any major changes in the renovation, or we're going to go to market, or we received an offer, I reach back out to them. But a lot of the times in the past, I've actually tried to give them more information, and they're just like, you know what, I just wanted to give you the money. I trust in you. I know you're good, and just give me my return at the end. And if it seems like a good situation, we'll continue to do it. And luckily, the people that I've invested with, they've been happy about it at the end of the day. Some people have their different opinions about wanting to be more involved or not involved, but that's something that I'm working through with dealing with people, right? I'm just learning how much information do you really want to know? And to answer that question, once again, the more involved they are in terms of their part of the process, They're, if they're the ones that are the ones managing the deal and they're the majority partner in it, they're the ones that either purchased it or put the majority of the money in, and they just want me for the guidance there, then I'm going to allow them to go ahead and go through and get all that information, and they can piggyback off me and reach in, tap into me any part of the process that they want. They can say, hey, I don't understand this. Hey, here's some paperwork. Here's a contract. Can you help me read it and understand it? And I'll guide them through it. So it's definitely an organic process where there's not one set way to do it, as with any partnership. But for the most part, when I'm the one handling most of the things and they're just syndicated, more of a silent partner, then I just give them as much information as they want.
Right. That makes sense. That makes total sense. So let me ask you this. If you had a time machine, started all over, what would you do differently?
I would do the things that I know now and invest more time in my business credit, so that way I don't have to put a lot of my own money up front. I would start by building relationships. I would get a list of realtors, get a list of, I hate to sound like a dead horse, sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but it's basically very important to build these relationships. When I started, I'm just going in and I don't know anybody. So what happens is you get in the middle of a deal and you have to reach out to meet new people. You have to try new people when it's already in the process. So I would focus more time on building relationships. And again, I would get a mentor. I will get somebody who's already been there, done that, so that way I can shave time off of it. What I've learned over the 2 to 3 years, I'm compiling all of that into my mentorship on what you can learn now in 1 to 3 months, right? I had somebody, I would have invested $5,000, $10,000 to know that I can teach somebody, learn from somebody who can actually teach me what not to do. Because I've lost, I haven't lost on any deal, knock on wood, but I've missed profits in lots of different scenarios where I've kind of learned a little bit better.
You never lost no deal?
No.
Whoa, that's Floyd Mayweather numbers, man.
Right. The thing is, you make sure you make your money when you buy, right? If you're buying a deal and the top end of the potential is $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, in some cases, I don't want to say that, I don't want to cap and say that every deal is a $60,000 profit. Yeah. Some deals you might make $15,000, $20,000. I'm doing a deal right now that's on the market right now that I'm all in $70,000. Again, none of my own money, but $70,000, and it's on the market right now for $160,000. Right? It's in Riverbank. It's a 4-bedroom or 3-bedroom, 2-bath mobile home. And so with that kind of spread, if I'm in at 60,000 and I'm selling for 160,000, there's so much room. And if I got the right information, right, and if I'm halfway knowledgeable about things, there's really no room for a loss. I can make less profit, but I'm always going to be in the green.
Yeah, that's 100,000. That's room. that's room. You know what I'm saying?
Your money when you buy, man. You got to make sure that you're sourcing correctly. And people always ask me, they're like, "Where you really finding these mobile homes for 5,000, 10,000, 15,000?" I look on the market and they're all 50, 60, 70. Well, because you're on the market. Just like when you're investing in homes, you got to find off-market properties. There's no real money in finding on-market. And even though there is in some cases, you got to really try hard and dig deep. You're not going to find one of these every day. You got to be consistent and open those channels up.
And I think in that avenue, it's important, we said it again, it's important to build those relationships to get those off-market deals because, if you're not in, you're going to miss them. And it's just like that. So once again, bro, I really appreciate you. And just tell some people how they can reach you. And also, I have another question for you when it comes to resources. What are some resources or tools that made your life easier when it comes to
just ask you about the books? What books would you recommend?
I think that's two different questions. To go off of books just in general, I think that, mindset books are really good. There's Negotiate Like Your Life Depended on It is a book that I read. It was by an FBI hostage negotiator, teaching me how to ask calibrated questions because everything in life is a negotiation, right? Whether you're talking about with your kids, whether you're talking about with your boss, whether you're talking about buying or selling something, partnerships, potential clients, customers, everything is a negotiation. So if you really hone in on your ability to negotiate, no matter what facet you use that in, you're going to be able to be more successful. And so mindset books, there's also, books like Think and Grow Rich, having your mindset shift from that of scarcity to abundance. So anything that you can do to learn and get better on motivating yourself, impacting others, and also having that mindset of abundance is going to help you out in terms of resources that you can use to help you out better. There's a lot of them, off the top of my head right now, beyond, a couple of gems that I dropped earlier. One that I like to point out is Fiverr. Don't sleep on Fiverr, right? That is one of the best resources for virtual assistants. Fiverr, for people that don't know, is an online marketplace for virtual assistants, right? And hence the name Fiverr. Most of these tasks can be done for just $5. So if you want to get started in business, and whatever business that is, drop on Fiverr. For example, for one that I uses SEO, which is search engine optimization, or NAP citations. What I use is somebody on there, I pay them $10, and they go out there and they actually drop my business name 40 to 50 different sites across the web day one. So I'm all of a sudden able to be found online. So for example,
whoa, hold on, run it back.
So I do this for business credit. So one of the things when you do with business credit, right, is you want to be credible and you want to be able to be found online, because sometimes lenders will look you up online and make sure you're a credible business. So day one for my business credit clients, what I actually do is, and they might in the background, it feels like it's me, it feels like I'm a superstar, that all of a sudden they're all across the internet. But what I usually do is I hop on Fiverr and I pay $10 to a person, and all I do is give them one description of my business and a little bit of information, and they go and broadcast my business across the internet to 40 to 50 different sites, and it's usually done within 24 hours. So not only am I actually able to be found and make legitimate real business from that, my search engine optimization goes up. So if you type in my business name or anything in my category, because they allow you to type in 10 to 20 keywords, and they also find additional keywords, it's going to bump me up in the search right away automatically. So it could take somebody 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, right, each time to fill out like a Google My Business or one of the, My Local Pages sites or whatever the case is, because it's really repetitious. Whereas if you put it on Fiverr for $10, all of a sudden you can leverage Fiverr, right? And next thing you know, you're all of a sudden all the way across the internet. Okay. Another way that I use that is I have my mentees in day one of the 30-day challenge. The first step is to identify your market. So you can go out and look on Google and find every single mobile home in your market, but I give you a script and also give you the rundown and show you a video on exactly how I do it, where you go on Fiverr, and what you do is you have them go out and find every single mobile home within a 30-mile radius of your location. Not only are you finding that mobile home, you're going to find the name of the mobile home. I want you to find the address. I want you to find the space rent. I want you to get the contact person of the manager on site. So day one, all of a sudden you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to know the every single mobile home. And actually, I have them put it in spreadsheet format. So now you got a spreadsheet with every single mobile home, how much the mobile home rent for, what the name of the manager are, where the park is, and the distance from your home. So that is definitely another way that I use to leverage others, especially Fiverr. So don't sleep on Fiverr and use that. My trick is, if it takes me longer than 15 minutes for a task, do it on Fiverr, right? Because after 15 minutes, it becomes you doing that minimum wage activity. Because at the end of the day, if I can pay $5 for something that cost me 20 minutes or cost me an hour, if I choose to do it myself, it's like I'm paying myself only $5 an hour for that. And that's not what we're here for.
Oh my God, let's go. Okay, I was a little late with the comments, bro, but the comments was going nuts earlier. They're going nuts right now. And we're going to work on these, being able to put it on the screen, but it's ridiculous. Y'all go to Facebook, Royal Credit Score Club. Y'all see the action that's going on over there. Shout out to YouTube as well. Also, man, bro, I believe that you literally gave the steps already for somebody to watch this and just go ahead and purchase they home. But at the same time, they're going to have to like pick the pieces, you know what I mean? So what I would do, if it was me, I would watch this and then get in contact with Charles. Because now you can get like a head start on actually understanding steps, understanding the knowledge, the process, pick the pieces, and have the materials, and then come to Charles and just be like, Charles, I'm ready.
Right. And just to throw it out there, if any on my, I don't have a way to put my screenshot on the board so that way you guys have a what do you call it, a little QR code or whatnot. However, if you go ahead and go to my Instagram, serial_CEO, going across to the bottom of the page, you can click the link in the bio. You can schedule a consultation. I typically don't give free consultations because I'm be on the phone forever. But as a favor to the people that rock with you, I'm gonna go ahead and say that anybody that hops on there and in my Calendly link, they schedule a consultation for me. Just put real credit. Send me a message and make sure in your message it says that. I'll go ahead and give you a free consultation. You can ask me any quick questions that you want in terms of mobile home investing. And then on top of that, I have my 30-day challenge. And anybody who's on this call right here, right? Normally my 30-day challenge, it's $297. And I'm confident that with this 30-day challenge, you'll be able to successfully find, flip, and sell a mobile home right within those first 30 days. You'll definitely be able to identify that. It's normally $297. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there and say for $97 for anybody who's on this call, they can join my 30-day challenge, and that'll give you as much information as you need to decide if this is something for you. And on top of that, you're gonna be able to flip a deal. Like I'm more than confident. You're also gonna be into my Facebook group. You're also gonna have that one-on-one time with me. You'll get an additional 1 hour consultation, so that way I can understand your goals and set you on the right pace and understand that to help you out doing anything that I can to make sure that you're successful, especially in those 30 days.
Hey, that's dope, man. I really appreciate that. Like, that's really given to the communities. And the people will say community, but it's communities. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the network. Shout out to Recession Proof. This is the reason why I even know these two individuals, my co-host and Charles Davis. Like, we built a real relationship, and it's something amazing because we've been able to experience other experiences. And I'm laughing because, bro, it's some things that I did with y'all, like, you can only imagine, you know what I'm saying? And then the high vibes, and it's just a beautiful thing. And so I really salute you. Yeah, absolutely.
The network is life changing. And if I can just say one more thing, again, I'm working with Tasha. She actually talked to me this morning, and she said, Charles, like, CJ, am I doing a good job? Like, would you recommend me? And by far, this is no plug. She didn't tell me to say this, but 100%, I would recommend her for real estate transactions or to partner in any means. Like, she is very thorough, very consistent. She's always there when I need it. I ask her a question. She always gets back to me, very communicative and very professional, right? Even though we know each other, it still comes as professional. I get the DocuSign. She's like, hey, I need you to sign that DocuSign if you want to close, this, that, and the other. I ask her things and she gets back to me right away. So 100%, I want to thank you, on the air. I want to thank you, Tasha, for this experience that I've had with you. I've dealt with other realtors that made me say, hey, you know what? I got to find me somebody else. By far, she got this mobile home sold. The first person that checked it out, she got it on the market, and we got this thing sold within about a week of putting it on the market. So
we went on Friday. No, you're not going short. No.
Excuse me. Go ahead. How long was it?
We did it on Friday. We were in contract on Monday.
Right. Put it out on Friday. Contract on Monday. I mean, I've had other transactions that went on forever because of the realtor wasn't out there doing as much as they could. I don't know what the sauce was or what she does. 100%. I believe now. I was seeing it on the sidelines, but now I'm working with her. I'm a believer.
Thank you.
That's super dope. Speaking of Natasha, I know you're a completely transparent woman, and can you touch on just real quick on some experiences or a quick what not to do type of situation, if you have a story for that?
So I do. I'm gonna share something recently. We had a transaction. Charles, first of all, thank you for even allowing me to come on board and assist you and work with you guys. One of the transactions, we actually dual agent in this one. So we represent the buyer and the seller. And so that's been good. However, when it comes to real estate, especially when you're purchasing homes, we're speaking on mobile homes with Charles, but as you know, I'm a realtor on commercial. I've took my first commercial deal. I've also did a number of single family homes and then the mobile homes. And so with the single family, one of the things that I'm noticing that I just feel like I need to put this out there for individuals so that they know is when you're going in and you're purchasing these properties, whether it's the mobile home, whether it's a single family home, whether it's a commercial deal, you get inspections done, right? The cost of those inspections are the buyer's responsibility. You do not get that cost back, even if you walk away from the deal. So a lot of times, like when you get with somebody, make sure you get in with somebody that's going to inform you and break down that information and share like the do's and don'ts on when it comes to real estate. So that just happened recently, and we had a situation where one of the clients they actually were FHA, and they went in and we on the listing agreement it showed that it was FHA qualified. Well, when we got in escrow, went through some negotiations, got in escrow, everything was going good, and then come to find out the realtor mislisted it and it wasn't in fact an FHA. The client had went through inspections and everything, and that was a cost to them. Now I refunded them the funds because I feel like that was not fair. They didn't know, it was something that was totally out of their control. So at the end of the day, it's just, it's more to the story than that the gist of it. Just know when you get with somebody who, like Charles said, gonna communicate with you, gonna break it down, that's gonna go through, and also that's gonna cover your tracks, cover their tracks. So
Word. Good advice. Very, very good advice. That's something definitely I feel like I'm gonna take heart to myself, just to keep a reminder, in anything that we do. And I really want to salute both of y'all. Charles, man, you a busy man. You flying state to state, city to city. You just got off 2 stages. Is that right?
Yeah,
Speaking stages. Come
absolutely.
on, man. Talk to me nice. Come on,
Came
talk
from
to
San
me.
Antonio last weekend. We was
Okay.
on the stage, with a bunch of busy entrepreneurs and basically breaking down to them, and everything always comes back to it, man. And that speech wasn't about necessarily mobile homes, but it was about leverage and building relationships and building that firm foundation and being consistent. That's what it all boils down to. And that can go across the board with whatever you're doing, building relationships, using leverage, and being consistent.
Word. That's real. That's real.
absolutely.
Yeah. So we can go ahead and end it there because you gave so much, but
Yes,
I want everybody to
love
go
it.
DM Charles, even just to get some information. Because
Yeah, I'm an open book. You know what I mean? Like I learned a long time ago, and if you guys want to get involved at any capacity, whether you want information, whether you want to join my mentorship, the 30-day challenge, whatever it is, or you just want, if you got a couple questions, don't hesitate to reach out. My next mentorship is going to be starting on December 1st. I have some deals that I'm going to be running. Stay tuned for those right there. My coaching program is always going on. And once again, the November 1st will be my next 30-day challenge. Definitely tap in. I'm going to unlock some major things. I'm really modeling my program after like recession proof, seeing how much markets is giving back to us. And I want it to be an all inclusive learning platform. So I'm dropping a jet ski rental mentorship in there. I'm dropping the dump trailer rentals in there. I'm doing the business credit in there, right? I'm doing the mobile home mentoring. So I'm trying to do it to where that you can come in here and you can touch all bases and make sure that you're going to have a complete package and make sure that you're going to be successful. So definitely tap in.
let's go, let's go, let's go. It's about that time when we end the Kings and Queens of Credit. We end it with the game. So we're gonna go 3 rounds. When I say a word, Charles, you say the first thing that comes to your head. Natasha's gonna say a word. You're gonna say the first thing that comes to your head. We're gonna do that 3 times, 3 rounds. You with it?
All right.
All right, let's do it. Wealthy,
Leverage,
Discipline. Go, Charles.
communication,
education,
Josh.
That's
no,
you.
it's on you.
Oh,
It's always on you.
uh, power,
Money.
effort,
Achievement,
success,
Goals.
consistency,
Let's go. I love it. I love it. Thanks again, Charles. And that is the Keys and Queens of Credit, man. Follow Natasha and also follow Charles Davis. Thanks again for dropping the
Yes,
game.
Charles.
Everybody
Absolutely.
definitely follow them again and again and again. Like, comment, and subscribe. And when it comes to the Royal Credit Club, we wish the best for everybody. We wish the greatest for everybody. I want to let everybody also know if you need to leverage your credit, understand how the system goes. I also have a masterclass you could tap in for free on Thursdays. DIY Royal Credit com. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the bottom here. DIYRoyalCredit.com. Come with all your questions. That's a time for you to get it and understand it, because we don't just use credit to to leverage that. It's like a lifestyle. You got to maintain it. You got to understand it. It's something that you have to hold close to you, have a solid foundation, and then, like Charles said, go to business credit. So that's where I give all the game about personal credit, understanding what you got to do with it, and understanding the power it is, so that you can leverage to live the life that you desire. At the end of the day, it's about living the life that you desire. The things that we have here on earth are tools for us to live the life that we desire with a passion, with a purpose. All right, so we're headed to the top, and the bottom is way too crowded, but we will never look down at anybody unless we're willing to help them up. Bless on top of more blessings. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.